moving so fast, man, I didn't know what was on his foot. It looked like space basketball boots. War sneakers for the court. That's just that's next level. That's a battle sneaker.
Finally, I have another pair of Air Foamposite ones in the dark royal colorway. And they released this shoe like 4 times, I believe, but I got this pair early on GOAT. I don't know how, but they have them. I seen a guy that I follow on Instagram picking up a pair locally, and I was like, wait a minute, let me see if I missed them. But I didn't miss them because they do come out on September 13th, 2024. I paid $229.11, but they will retail for $240 USD. But before we go into the details of the sneaker, I'm going to give you a little history why I fell in love with this sneaker. I was a big Anthony Penny Hardaway fan, and he was like the second best player next to Michael Jordan. I was always staring at this picture in the back of Slam magazines and Sports Illustrated, and I was like, man, I really want that shoe. He gave us this iconic step back move back in 1997, and there was no way my parents were going to buy me a $180 sneaker. At that time, I wasn't even getting the newest Air Jordans, so I just had to watch the commercials and just dream and drool over them. East Bay magazines were pretty much my safe haven for looking at all sneakers, and it was kind of like you had the sneakers, but they were just in a magazine. I did end up getting this pair in a half size too big and a little beat, but just to have these shoes on my feet, it really meant a lot. And it's funny because the story goes that Penny was chilling with Eric Avar, and he saw the shoe in his bag, and he was like, yo, I gotta have that shoe. And it was supposed to be for Scottie Pippen. The shoe came out right after the Jordan 11 Concord, and that was a tough shoe to beat, even though they did later make a foam Concord, which was okay, I had them. Mike Bibby, while in college, he was the first person to debut them, and Jason Terry kind of took that torch and wore them after that. Tim Duncan wore the Foamposite Pro in an All-Star game, which was dope. And they even made this Foamposite hat, which I almost bought. I'm glad I didn't, but I almost did. Making the Foamposite one was extremely creative and ahead of his time at the time. The shoes' original molds were destroyed, so Nike had to retool them to re-release them during the 2010s, and still to this day, the retail price of the sneaker is going to remain high just because how they have to make them. And here's a random sample that never came out. Penny started to wear them, but because of the uniform regulations at the time, he took a Sharpie marker, and he also said they put tape on them to kind of align them with the uniform restrictions. They later released the shoe in a pack with the Air Penny 6, which I haven't seen much of the Air Penny 6. And this shoe's okay, but I'm still just a big fan of the original design. They later made Penny this Tiger pair when he started to coach, which is kind of, reminiscent of the Sharpie and his college team. I mean, they were alright, I just think they would look better with black laces. Before Penny had his own signature shoe, he wore the Nike Air Flight 1, and this is the only sneaker that Michael Jordan wore from another player. And Penny also had his own PE edition of the Jordan 9, which Jordan didn't wear. He was playing baseball at the time, and he did have a baseball version of that. And during that time, you could tell Michael Jordan really admired Penny. probably thought he was the next guy up. Unfortunately, Penny was hit with too many injuries, but you could just tell Michael adored him. He liked his sneakers, and I don't think Jordan wore Kobe sneakers ever. And unfortunately, when the Galaxy foam was released, Penny told Complex in this interview that somebody actually lost their life in the mass hysteria of trying to cop them locally. I think the next biggest release for the foams will be these Tekken foams, and I'm gonna try to get them for retail, but for resale right now, they're over 1,000 in my size, so I don't know. And Nike has finally given credit to the DMV area for holding the foams down over the years, making them popular. I think the credit that the DMV area deserves is overdue, but it is what it is. But let's go ahead and check out what you will be getting in 2024. This shoe is absolutely beautiful, and like I said, they made this shoe about 4 times. I do have the 2007 pair, and I'll show you those compared to these a little later. You probably saw them in the on-foot section, but this shoe is amazing. And wearing both of them, they feel exactly the same. This is the new mold, of course. Even the 2007 pair, that was still a new mold, even though it was a really long time ago. And I'm just really happy, like a little kid all over again. Like, I'm happy to get this shoe because it's been a long time coming. And I skipped over a couple versions because I had the 07, so I was like, I really don't need another pair of these. And for the simple pack, they always go quick. They always sell out. But this year, 2024, it's a different time, and this is probably the golden age for all Jordans, Nikes, and all the nostalgic kicks. I mean, I got these under retail like 10 years ago. You're not getting this shoe under retail. You're getting it. You actually weren't going to get it at all if you didn't have somebody at the store that was going to hook you up or some kind of plug, because resale back then wasn't really a thing like it is now. And the foam hype kind of died because they started making so many foams and so many different prints. I'm not even going to get into how many prints that they made, but here's my 07 pair. And you can see that they pretty much look like the OGs from 97. They made a few small tweaks with this new pair I have there, which I think are necessary. Like you can see on the carbon fiber shank plate, it's blue and black. And the 07s is just straight black carbon fiber. You can tell the bottoms are cooked, not from me beating them, from just age. They're over 10 years old. I'm surprised they're even holding up this long. Look how the penny sign has oxidized. It's crazy. We have just a regular Nike swoosh on the toe, and this one they outlined it in blue, and I think that's a nice touch. Some of the updates are actually appropriate. The penny signs, they look a little different on the back, and I think that's just because how things are stitched in 2024. And I'm really happy I never got rid of these. I got rid of all of my foams except this pair. So I had to get the 2024 pair, especially under retail. Now, I ain't gonna lie, doing all this research, I went back to GOAT and I had to get the quote-unquote penny PEs. And this is not 100% to the PE, but at this point, I don't care. This is the best we're gonna get. And I think the shoe is beautiful. I put them on IG, on the IG story. Make sure you follow me on IG at Cola Culture. But the shoe is amazing. I stopped what I was doing when I was editing the video. I went to GOAT. I bought these for probably like maybe $8 or $9 over the retail prices. They came out about a year ago, but I just had to have them. I don't care if it was an impulse buy. Here's the original shoe. There's some small differences. There's a blue stripe up the middle instead of the white. And it's funny that in that picture, Scottie Pippen's guarding him. And this was supposed to be his shoe. I don't really think Pippen made a mistake not choosing these. I think just things happen how they're supposed to happen sometimes. So shout out to Eric Avar for making the sneaker. And again, shout out to Scottie Pippen for passing on the sneaker. I mean, if he didn't do that, we probably wouldn't have got this iconic move, and we probably wouldn't have got this beloved foam sneaker that we all love now. So that's my video on these. This video was a little sentimental to me because it kind of took me back to my childhood, watching the penny commercials and videos, trying to be Air Penny out there on the street ball courts. It was a good time to be alive. So peace, love, and light, guys. I'm out, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.